Well, hello guys, and welcome back to another Sheffield Steelers guy video. As you guys know, yesterday I went to my very first Sheffield Steeldogs game. Now, if you don't know, the Sheffield Steeldogs are a separately run, or were, I suppose, a separately... Pardon me, Jesus Christ, I've let one out there, haven't I? So, apparently we're having interruptions everywhere. The Sheffield Steeldogs were a separately run team to, obviously, the Sheffield Steelers. Obviously, they play their games in Sheffield, and I think they were formed in, 2010, maybe 2000. I think those are the two possible years they were set up in. However, obviously at the start of last season, the Steeldogs had issues. So the Steelers, Tony Smith, he bought the Steeldogs out. So yesterday I decided, or me and my dad decided, we were going to go down to a game of the Steeldogs, see what the dogs are like, and see if what the Steelers are doing is really, really, really good. Now, before this video starts, I would like to give a shout out to Mike O'Connor. Every time I run into him, he always asks me how this channel is doing. If you don't know, he is a member of the Sheffield Steelers organisation, so that is pretty big alone. Please do not disappear, we have a lot to talk about. So, first thing is, the Sheffield Steeldogs are obviously very similarly run to the Sheffield Steelers. You still have the 50-50, you still have the chuck a puck, you still have the shirt off your back, and Steeldogs also play in orange, but yesterday they weren't. It was Pride weekend, but on said days, Steeldogs play in orange. Now, they used to play in grey and blue and stuff, and I actually do prefer that colour, but orange is absolutely fine. Now, on the Steeldogs teams, there are players called two-ways. Now, these two-way players, they have a contract with the Steeldogs, but they can also get called up to the Steelers. So this gives players who have possibly never had chance to have Elite League hockey, for example, Tate Shudra, the chance to play Elite League hockey. Some of the two-ways on the Steeldogs have actually played Elite League hockey before. For example, Sam Tremblay, he's played Elite League hockey before, I believe, with the Storm. Ivan Bajorkley-Nordstrom, I don't actually think he's ever played Elite League hockey. He has played with the Steelers a few times. And obviously the Steelers player, Finley Ulrich, who is actually a two-way, but is spending most of his time with the Steelers, and you can understand why, is also a two-way, as well as Curtis Warburton and Dan Crow. They're all two-ways playing with the Steelers. So is Nathan Ripley. A good quarter of the Steeldogs team are two-ways who are getting the experience, so one day they can play with the Steelers. So all three Tate players have played for the Steelers. Well, Tate hasn't, but... Now, I really like this because I think the Steelers are trying to keep their squad young, and I think that's a benefit. I think that's a very good benefit that the Steelers want to keep the squad young, because I think that younger players make a team a lot better. You know, old players, and I've noticed this with a few Steelers players, they do lose their skill that they had a few years before. I think Robert Dowd has been a bit slower this year. He's still done all his milestones. He's getting old now. And as you know, Jonathan Phillips, who was the captain of the Steelers, he now plays at the Steeldogs. And he'll play there for a few more years, I'm guessing, before retiring full-time. The Steeldogs is really well set up. There are a few issues. Obviously, with it being Sheffield, the atmosphere... it's quiet. I think the Steelers and the Steeldogs need to think and just say to themselves, we are the best run teams in British ice hockey. we need to build up on atmosphere. By this, the Steelers could, like, introduce away drums back. That would get atmosphere going. Can you imagine the European games if Dynamo Pardubice fans were allowed to bring in drums? The atmosphere would have been intense. Biggest arena in the league. And it would also be nice if the Steeldogs played at the arena sometimes. It wouldn't get as many fans, but it would be nice to see their players get a taste of what a big arena is like. They're going to do that anyway. Well, the two ways are. Not sure about the Steeldogs as a whole. Can you imagine the Steeldogs and the Steelers in the same league? We'd have a Sheffield derby, ladies and gentlemen. We would have the Sheffield Steeldogs hosting the Steelers at Sheffield, and then the Steelers hosting the Steeldogs at the arena. And that's where it comes up to my next point. Are there and I actually did find yesterday that there are actually Steeldogs fans who don't go to the Steelers, they go to the Steeldogs. And I think we're going to see less of those fans, because I think a lot of Steeldogs fans are mainly just Steelers fans who will go down to a Steeldogs game when either the Steelers are not playing there or the Steelers are away that day. And you could actually have earlier face-off times for the Steeldogs. So say on a Saturday, Steeldogs start at 4 and then Steelers start at 7. That way, Steeldogs fans who want to go to the Steelers, they can make their way to the Steelers after. You won't have much time, but I think it'll work. All in all, the Steelers and the Steeldogs thing is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Some of the two ways play phenomenal. I think it's a very beneficial thing, and I think we really need to take it seriously. And we are, but we need to continue to do so. Guys, keep it up, Steelers. Keep it up, Steeldogs. That's all I'm saying. Guys, I'm going to try and do more daily uploads. I'm struggling at the minute because I've still got a bit of a stiffy cough. But it is on its way out now, so I should hopefully be back to normal videos soon. If you guys have enjoyed this video, give it a like and, of course, subscribe. We're 5 subscribers away from 310. Yes, I'm going to mention every subscriber goal because it just makes you guys want to hit it more. If you guys have enjoyed this video, give it a like and, of course, subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow for another Sheffield Steelers guy video. Goodbye from Steelers guy.